Hi guys, this here is my Trex 450 SE V2 clone jobby. It's not exactly a line, but this is a EXI 450 head, 450 clone head, and HK 450 frame, except for the motor mount is EXI, and the bearing blocks and the tail boom block is EXI, along with the tail drive gears in here, and the tail box down here is also the EXIs, and this the tail set up here. I've got an Align DS420 digital servo for my tail, and it does a good job, pretty good. Of course, people have suggested I get a 520, which I'll probably do in the near future, but up until about a year and a half, 2 years ago, the 420 was pretty standard on 450 helis, so it's not going to suffer too badly. I just don't want to overpower it. KDL brushless outrunner, 3500 kilovolt. I believe I've got a 14 tooth pinion, 13 tooth, something like that. 40 amp hobby wing ESC. I've got Walkera digital servos, Metal Gear digital servos for my cyclics. These are the Walkera V450D01 servos. They came as a set of 3 from WoW Hobbies, and they were like 35 bucks for all 3 of them shipped, and they seem to be working pretty well, and they were recommended highly from the hobby shop anyway. Now what I've got going on here is I've got my 2702 Rx2702v. That's the 450 D01 receiver. If you can see, I've got just a little zip tie kind of configured to keep my antennas straight, because they're pretty flexible and they kept wanting to bend around, and I want to keep them at a 90-degree angle from one another. So that just added a little bit of rigidity to it, so every time I put it in my bag I don't have to straighten out my antenna again before I fly. Now if you look, I'm running Align Woodies, by the way. I like the way they balance right out of the package, and they seem to fly with pretty good characteristics. If we look at my setup here, I don't know if you can see it very well. Let's see if it'll focus. Alright, I've got my tail delay and my balance delay turned all the way down to 0. And my ELEV and ALS strength, I imagine that is, or sensitivity, one or the other, is turned up to about 3/4, maybe 65 to 70% of the way up. And of course you're going to have to adjust that differently for different length fly bars, if you've got weights on your fly bars, if you're running a fly barless setup, etc. But those will adjust the sensitivity of your aileron and pitch gyros here, the corrections. And the way I have these servos wired, it's pretty self-explanatory, because they have not only just the channels numbered 1 through 10, well 1 through 8, where they actually don't have the channels numbered, but they have them labeled: rudder, elevator, aileron, pitch, throttle 1 to gear, battery, etc. Well, of course, ESC goes into your throttle 1, and your elevator servo is the rear servo back here, and your rudder, of course, is your tail servo, and the pitch and aileron are the front ones. In order to figure out which ones those were, of course, all you need to do is pull out your manual, and we see here pitch, aileron. So pitch is over on the left, aileron is right here. Okay, for my transmitter settings, what I've been finding to work pretty well recently is, let's go through here real quick. I'll show you what I've got. Of course, you got stick mode 2, compatibility 2801, of course, and ID code. I've got mine set to random because I haven't bound my receiver. I just like having it random for now anyway. Let's see here. Of course, you got your swash type, be 3 servos, 120 degrees, and you're going to want, let's see here, just go through some of these. Of course, got these right there. Let's see here, and let's get into the model set. All right, here's where it counts. Your reverse channels, 2 and 4 are the only channels reversed. All right, and then of course sub trim zeros all the way down. All right, and then we're gonna go to travel adjust, 120% on the rudder. Everything else goes 100%. I noticed I tried to put my pitch and my aileron elevator channels all to 150%, and for some reason that caused an uneven travel only on when using my aileron and elevators, not on the collective. The collective will still perfectly even travel, but I backed it back down to 100%, and that seemed to work. It seemed to fix the problem. Everything moves level now, as you can see with the monitor right here. My collective moves evenly, as do my cyclic controls, forward and backwards. There we go. Alright, let's see what else we've got here. We've got swash, ATS mix. Swash mix, I've got it up to 70. Alright, and I've recently changed my dual rates to 75% on elevator and aileron, and of course 100% for the rudder. A little bit more expo on the rudder, 30%. I might turn that down actually a little bit later on. Just personal preference, how much exponential you want on it. And of course, my throttle curves. Stunt 2 is a flat 100% throttle curve. My normal, let's see here, we go through 5%, 14.5%, 77%, 86%, 90%, and then my stunt 1 is pretty flat, 80, 90, or 100, 90, 80, 90, 100. Alright, and of course the pitch curves, we start this one out at 35.5%, 45%, 50%, right on the middle, 70%, 95%. And let's go to stunt 1. Pitch curve is just slightly exponential, and stunt 2 is linear. And of course, program mix is not used; they're all off. Failsafe is inhibited. And gyro settings are about 73% right there, and that's with that flipped off. And of course, throttle hold, negative 15%. That ought to get it flying if you can set it up. Thank you.
What?
It's not got timer running or anything?
Yeah, 2:45.
Let me know when it gets to 5 minutes.
Okay. Oh, 6, sorry. 6.
Huh?
6:23.
6:23.
I'm sorry.
Thank you.
Sorry, I was so focused trying to stay on it.
We're good.
Okay.